So what do you do if your apricots are all dried out and wrinkly? You gotta rehydrate them.
I just said, yes, man, right away, anything.
Despite the fact that I am suffering from a case of old man, I'm not talking about my own apricots. I'm talking about these apricots. Specifically, I'm talking about a crap ton of dried fruit that I got from Olive Nation, today's sponsor. This whole video is sponsored by Olive Nation because they sent me a giant box of dried fruit. And so thank you guys, I really appreciate it because I'm gonna make something super delicious. So Olive Nation makes tons of extracts and flavorings and stuff that I use all the time on my channel for flavoring stuff. You know, adding a boost of flavor to something. But they also sell tons of herbs, spices, and dried fruit. Really high quality stuff. These are dried apricots and they are massive. So what are we doing with all of this today? I got a recommendation from a viewer in comments years ago. I'll put it up on the screen if I can find it. But it was basically, I should try my hand at making Rumtopf. Rumtopf is a German fruit compote. It's, and if you don't know what that is, it's just fruit in sugar and some other liquid. And traditionally, Rumtopf is just preserving fruit that you have left over throughout the harvest year in rum and sugar. It's a very simple process, but it's not usually done with dried fruit. The reason why I'm doing it with dried fruit is because I like it that way. I've had it both ways. And honestly, I like it with the dried fruit because I tend to use that dried fruit that's been soaked in sugar and rum for baking. You know, I have one person in my family, specifically my brother-in-law, that he has an affinity for fruitcake. I thought rather than just using the candied fruits that you see in the grocery store to make fruitcake and then pouring alcohol over it, why don't we do it with alcohol soaked dried fruits? Because sometimes when you're hanging out with relatives for long periods of time at a family dinner, it's a good idea to be able to disguise your alcohol consumption in your dessert so that everybody doesn't say that you're day drinking. But it makes the day go a lot better. I'm doing this to help you. All right, so this is, like I said, a very easy process. If you're using fresh fruit, it's just fruit, sugar, rum. Fruit, sugar, rum. Traditionally, it would be, you know, what comes off of the vine or off of the tree first. Those things get sliced up and put into your crock or your giant jar or whatever. And then as the season goes and whatever fresh fruit is now available that you haven't used up for other means, you just keep adding those layers. Don't add bananas. That doesn't work. They tend to break down in alcohol, and there's better things you can do with bananas, like make banana bread. So what I have to work with today is everything that I got from Olive Nation. Got the apricots, I got some candied lemon peel, got dried apples, dried pears, dried peaches, dried cherries, dried blueberries, dried red raisins. And I've never had these before, but they're extra tart, nice and chewy, and delicious. And then I also got some crystallized ginger. Here's the thing about this ginger. It actually has a snap to it. It's almost juicy. And the flavor is super intense. I'm not gonna add a whole lot of that because I don't want it to overwhelm everything else, but I'm definitely gonna put some in there. And we're gonna do a little bit of spices. I got some cherry peppercorns and some cinnamon. Now you can get any and all of this stuff from Olive Nation. I'm gonna put the link down in the video description, but make sure you use this coupon code because anything that you buy on the site is gonna be 20% off. So I don't care what you can find at the grocery store, the quality of Olive Nation is gonna be way higher and the price is gonna be excellent because of that discount. Okay, so now all we've gotta do is weigh out the fruit. And I'm gonna do 2 ounces of each of the fruits except for the ginger. Save that for last. And then anything that needs to be cut into pieces, go ahead and cut all that up. And then we're gonna make a sugar syrup with 1 cup of brown sugar and 1 cup of white sugar in 2 cups of water. And we're gonna put all of our spices in there. 1 cinnamon stick, about 8 peppercorns. I'm also gonna throw in 3 cloves and 3 allspice berries. Bring that up to a low simmer and put the lid on for about 15 minutes to make sure that those spices infuse that syrup. After that's done, strain out the spices and then add all of your fruit. Bring that back up to a simmer for about 30 minutes. And when I say simmer, I mean low, because you don't want to cook this stuff, you just want to rehydrate it with that syrup. And you may be thinking to yourself, why not just let the alcohol rehydrate the fruit? Well, the idea is not for you to get smashed on this. The idea is for it to pull some of the water from the fresh fruit when it's traditionally made, and it starts lowering the proof of that alcohol so that by the time you get to it in a month or two, you know, the rum isn't nearly as strong, and it's just more of a kind of a boozy topping for whatever you're doing or mixture in whatever baked good you're going to do. Trust me, you don't want it at 54% alcohol. You want it closer to 34%, kind of in the cordial liqueur kind of thing. It makes it a lot more dessert friendly, that's for sure. You can see how everything's plumped up now and started to rehydrate really well. Alright, so now I've got all my delicious fruit and sugar roughly split into 2 equal amounts in my jars here. Got roughly the same amount of liquid and roughly the same amount of fruit. The main thing is we have enough room for our alcohol. So the rum that we're going to end up using is one that I did on this channel. I'll go ahead and put a link to it right up here. This is a Tepache rum, and this one was made by wild fermenting pineapple pieces in just a standard rum wash. I think I aged it for about 6 months, maybe a year, on some whiskey aged oak. And I just took that stick out of the whiskey and dropped it in here. It's got some of that rum funk because it was wild fermented, so there was some bacterial activity in that fermentation as well. It really is a good rum. Hopefully I don't use it all for this recipe, but I'm okay if I do. If I need more alcohol, I'm going to top it off with some white rum that is from another video. I'm going to go ahead and put that right up here. This one was done with the MVM, the My Vodka Maker Plus, and it's got a crazy amount of good flavors to it. Probably one of the best white rums I've ever had, so, but you know, I'm biased, so whatever. And the one thing I didn't add to the mix while it was simmering was the ginger. And I almost forgot, this is completely optional. You can throw in about 1.5 ounces or 43, 44 grams of chopped walnuts. This is totally up to you. I'm putting them in there because I'm gonna use this for fruitcake, but I mean, who doesn't want to have their nuts soaked? So if you want to fine tune this recipe, like I did kind of a baseline of 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of water, and I put in brown sugar because I ran out of white sugar. If you want to do all white sugar, all brown sugar, coconut sugar, palm sugar, whatever, go right ahead. Go right ahead, because all it's going to do is give you some more interesting flavors. You know, I like the idea of the brown sugar because it kind of goes along with the rum. But if you want to, you know, play around with this, play around with it. You know, I've got some Ugandan rum that I made from vanilla beans from Olive Nation, and that'll be in this video up here. Very simple to do. And then I've got some little bit of homemade amaretto left over from a video where I show you how to make your own amaretto from scratch. That video is going to be right here. If you've never made amaretto, I highly recommend that you do it because it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's so good. And it uses a lot of these same dried fruits. If you're interested in that, check out that link and the whole recipe is going to be there. But if you wanted to add a little amaretto or a little vanilla, you absolutely can. And I may do that. I may taste all this stuff in a couple of weeks just to see, is the sugar level right? Would it enjoy having a little bit of either of these added in? That's one of the things I like about stuff like this, is that you can make changes all along the way. And it's not going to hurt it at all. You're not going to spoil a fermentation or mess up a distillation. Hypothetically, you have a lot of tweaking and levers that you can pull and you know, refine the flavor for whatever you want. And if you do something like this, take notes on it. And if you want to do it again next year, you've got a place to start from as far as, like, if you write down your tasting notes and you say, this could use a little bit more sugar next time, or a little vanilla, or I didn't like the apricots or whatever, then make those changes in your next batch. Because technically, that makes it science.
Remember, kids, the only difference between screwing around and science is writing it down.
Okay, so before we finish up the rest of the video, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, including all these folks right down here. Thank you guys so much for supporting all of my crazy ideas and following along, and for giving me such great suggestions over the years. I really couldn't do this without you guys. And as always, thank you so much for keeping my lights on. All right, so that is it for the Rumtopf. By the time Christmas rolls around, this stuff's gonna be dope. I might do a follow-up on this stuff so that we can have closure, because I know that it would drive me crazy not to know what happened to it. But man, these jars are still nice and warm. So if you want to get the ingredients that I use for this, go ahead and check out the link in the video description or the top comment to go to Olive Nation, and make sure you use this coupon code so that you can get that 20% discount on anything that you buy on the site. And I want to thank Olive Nation again for sending me such a massive haul of stuff, because I mean, technically I could make way more of this stuff. And I might do that, because even just sitting here for 10 minutes, this stuff is awesome. Oh my God. I gotta close this up and put it in the pantry so I don't eat it all. I can just see myself sitting on the couch, drunk off my ass, and my wife comes in and says, "What are you doing?" "I'm just eating fruit, honey." This is gonna be crazy good. Oh, I can't wait. Patience is the hardest thing in this hobby. I think we can all agree on that. All right, so I just want to say a preemptive happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy the cool weather, and if you have tons and tons of snow, I'm very sorry, but if I was there, I would help you shovel it, because as strange as it sounds, I enjoy shoveling snow, especially since I don't live in a place with snow anymore, so kind of miss it. All right, so that's it for this project. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and hit the like button, because it tells YouTube to recommend my content to other viewers that may not have seen it and might enjoy it. And if you want to find out what I'm going to do next time, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon right next to it so that you can get notified when I post new content. If you have your own recipes for Rumtopf or some other delicious preserved product that uses alcohol, do me a favor and post it in the comments down below, because I love this shit. All right. Thanks for watching. Talk at you later.